Alright, so I was gonna originally make a video about Bleach, but I ended up actually watching the One Piece Film Red movie, and I've definitely got a lot of thoughts about it. But before we get into it, if you guys watched the movie as well, let me know what you guys thought. Hit the like button, hit that sub button, I'd appreciate it, and let's get into it. So I'm gonna split this up into like a non-spoiler section and then a spoiler section. If I were to generally talk about this movie, I would say that it was very different than a lot of One Piece movies people are used to. Now, don't get me wrong, the art and animation were definitely top notch, as it always is. Seems like more and more anime are starting to use CGI, which I guess is more of an inevitability at this point. So yeah, there was a little bit of CGI in this movie, but it wasn't bad. So let's just address the elephant in the room. If you guys watched the movie, you already know there was a lot of music in this one. This is something that you could pretty much tell from the trailers, but I didn't think it was going to be to this degree. We might have had, I would say, between 6 to 10 musical sequences, and the songs were good. They were objectively good songs, and they did fit the mood of the scene they were in. But when I think of a really good One Piece movie like Film Z or Strong World, or even a little bit of Stampede, I don't think of musicals. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they might have decided to put so much music into this movie. Maybe they're trying to appeal to a more mainstream, younger crowd. Maybe they're trying to capture that TikTok audience. If you think about it, Chainsaw Man also has a lot of ending songs, kind of similar to how this movie had so many music numbers. So I've never really seen a movie within an anime franchise that's so unlike all the others. When it comes to One Piece movies, I'm usually very attached to like the villains and the development that they undergo throughout, which ultimately leads into the, classic fight against Luffy at the end of the movie. Essentially, I felt like this movie was more so focused on showcasing certain themes rather than having a really enriched story. Before I get to the spoiler section, I guess I'll say I'm gonna give this movie like an 8 out of 10. It's definitely not my favorite One Piece movie, but I think it's a comfortable top 3. I'm just still not sure if it's 2 or 3. I mean, number 1 is for me, it's Film Z. Film Z is like top tier anime movies. So 2 would either be Strong World or this movie. All right, so let's get into the spoiler section, right? There was a mix of so many characters that I did not expect to see together. We got a lot of Big Mom pirates. We got Katakuri, which was fire. We had Law and his crew. We had Bartolomeo. A lot of different pirate crews converged at the concert that Uta was putting on. And it was interesting to see them again, even though we hadn't seen them for a very long time. I really liked the dynamics of some characters, and seeing some old characters return, like Bueno, that was fire. I mean, I really did expect some sort of quip or joke between Luffy and him, but that didn't really happen. One character interaction that I definitely did not expect to see this time was Usopp and Yasopp. What the heck? I mean, technically they didn't really meet. They were telepathically talking to each other, which another thing. This goddamn movie just gave Usopp advanced observation haki, maybe even borderline future sight. There was a moment where Shanks was talking to Katakuri about his future sight and how he had someone in his group that can, use future sight as well, and that person is Yasopp. So that makes me think Usopp is definitely gonna get future sight. Luffy's Gear 5 was revealed, and it wasn't only that panel where it's a little bit more so on the line drawing side with him and Shanks attacking the Demon King. There was actually a frame that was on screen for, I would say, maybe a second and a half, if that, where it actually showed Luffy's back and you could actually see him in his form. So I think to kind of put this into context a little bit, we don't really know the timeline of the movie. Obviously it's not canon, right? But even non-canon anime movies tend to take place between arcs. This movie takes place at a really weird time. It obviously takes place well after Whole Cake Island and definitely into Wano. But obviously with Luffy's Gear 5th, this is adapting stuff that's not even in the anime yet. So it's technically taking place after the current anime episodes, but also before. There's really no point of thinking too much into it since it is non-canon, but it is something interesting to note. The big question going into this movie was, how much of Shanks are we actually going to see? I know they're marketing this whole movie around Shanks and his relationship with his daughter Uta, who, spoiler, isn't really his actual daughter. But the hope was that we would get to see Shanks for a decent amount this time around. But we only really get to see him, I would say, mainly in the last quarter of the movie, which, if you think about it, is still like a solid 30 minutes. We did get to see some pretty cool patented Shanks moments, especially the one where he uses his advanced Conqueror's Haki to put the fear of God into Kizaru and Fujitora. One side note, there's no way they didn't purposefully make chibi versions in this movie for Bueno, Beppo, and the Sunny. That definitely has to be merch, right? But yeah, Uta's passing in this movie was kind of sad, but ultimately I don't really feel like I was too attached to Uta. I mean, there were a few episodes in the anime that served as backstory, kind of canonizing Uta in a way, but even then, you can't just drop an important character, saying that she's the daughter of one of the most important characters in the show, and expect us to just, you know, take to her right away. I feel the same way about like Weevil, but that's also because they kind of dropped him on us and he just kind of disappeared. So maybe one day we'll get Weevil back. That was a One Piece film Red. Overall, it was a really different type of One Piece movie. It used more CGI, but overall I think it still got the job done. So 8 out of 10, great One Piece movie. So again, let me know what you guys thought about this movie if you guys end up watching it. What are some things you noticed? Do you think this stands up against movies like Strong World and Film Z? Personally, I think it's a close one between this and Strong World, but definitely not as good as Film Z. That's it though, I'm out. Hit that sub button, I appreciate it a lot, and I will catch you guys next time.